In this video, we are taking a look at the Oklahoma Frontier Drugstore Museum in Guthrie and seeing how medicine was done over 100 years ago.
It was originally a drugstore. The first proprietor was a man named Forrest Lilly, and he owned a drugstore in the Mercantile in the area. He was also part of the city council. He was on the committee that petitioned to get the Carnegie Library brought here to town. And then he was also the chair of the committee that wrote the Oklahoma state pharmacy laws. So 1906, 07, before statehood, they were working on that. Statehood was November 07, and then in 08 is when they actually rolled the program out.
Okay.
And because of his work as the chair of the committee, they issued him state license number 1 for the pharmacy program.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
We actually have it hanging back there by this sarsaparilla sign. And then the 2 small ones next to it are his Oklahoma Territory and Indian Territory licenses. So the fact that we have all 3 is kind of amazing.
Pretty cool.
So he didn't stay in this building the whole time. He was here for a while, and then when the economy got better, he would expand. So he bounced around to several buildings throughout the years. During the Depression, he would have gone back down a little bit. He and his son were pharmacists in the area for a total of like 82 years between the 2 of them. And then he lived here in town and had one of the nicer homes back in the day. In the late 70s, early 80s, a couple pharmacists in Oklahoma started talking, and they're like, well, we need to preserve some of this history because it tends to get left out of a lot of the other museums and stuff, except for just a mention. So they did about 10 or 12 years of fundraising and activism to try and get people to support this. And then in 1992, they were able to purchase the building. And then that September is when they opened to the public as a museum.
Okay.
With the exception of 1 or 2 cases, everything in here has been donated over the years.
Okay.
And even our soda fountain right here, that was donated from another drugstore that had closed down.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Sometimes they come entire collection, just see little plaques and stuff that say, from so-and-so's collection. Other items come in 1 at a time. Every now and again, we'll have somebody that'll just peek their head in the door and they're like, oh, I found this in Grandma's cabinet, or oh, I was out digging around and I found this in the antique store, or they come across them all in different ways. It's kind of cool. A guy was doing a clean out and tear down of a house, and he found an old 1915 image of the skeleton and the nerve system.
That's
cool.
It was in a closet that was getting set to, the house was getting set to get torn down. Yeah. So as you're looking around, feel free to come behind the counters here and get a close look at everything.
Okay.
We don't mind if you touch things that are out, and if there's something in behind glass you want to see closer, just let me know.
Okay.
As long as I can get the cabinet open and take a look at it. The only thing we ask that you don't mess with are the anything with keys, the typewriters, and the cash registers. And then back in the corner, there's some old poison labels, and people learning where everything's at.
Oh, really? We just don't really get out this way that much. Figure we come together and check it out.
Yeah, there's so much fun stuff. There's a truck. I think there's a truck show today too.
Oh, is there? We seen the look like the fair was here too, or about to be.
Yeah. So next week is our 89ers Day celebration. They started on Tuesday and it goes all week.
Okay.
The carnival, I think, is supposed to be open by Friday. They shut down for food trucks, and man, they look all the yummy stuff. Let me tell you that.
That's interesting, ain't it?
Need to get bled?
No.
You get your biles in check.
So that's the fun cabinet that you're looking at right now. That's got all the bottles that have the marijuana and the opium. There's a cocaine bottle. There's a heroin bottle. A couple laudanum bottles.
All the good stuff.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool.
So you guys remember the old Tombstone movie with Kurt Russell all that?
Yeah.
So the character that played Wyatt Earp's wife, in the movie you see she was always sipping on a bottle and her friends got worried about her. She had a laudanum addiction.
What is laudanum exactly?
So laudanum could be made a little bit differently. Each pharmacist made it to their own recipe. But it was usually a combination of a couple different opioids. Usually it would be set in alcohol, and sometimes they would add cannabis extract.
They're messed up back then. Man.
Maddie actually, in real life, after Wyatt left her for the actress, she overdosed on laudanum. That's how she died.
It's wild. It's insane.
That's why your great grandparents could walk up a hill in the snow both ways.
Right?
They're strong, aren't they?
These right here, these are poison registers. So back in the day, you didn't even have to have like prescriptions and stuff. You could walk in and like these people would say, I need cocaine for my habit. And they could just give you some cocaine. This one here says somebody asked for laudanum for the baby.
For the baby.
Oh, Lord.
They were self-administering. It was probably like morphine and opium set in alcohol to their infant.
Oh my God.
Baby's so well behaved. I can't imagine why.
She just sleeps all day. There's a teething agent for babies called Mrs. Winslow's Soothing Syrup. Doctors recommended it. Older moms recommended it to new moms. They had a huge advertising campaign. It was the top-selling brand.
Cocaine
and morphine
lane.
was the main ingredient.
I like to go through old newspapers a lot. And there is a newspaper from Oklahoma City, 1924, that has that brand advertised in it.
Does it?
Yeah, I recognize the name as soon as you said it. You can get $1.50, you get a case mailed to your house.
Man. So you'll notice too, a lot of these things are laxatives or have laxative effects. And we have a collection of suppository molds right there. The Victorians and the early progressive were very concerned about regular bowel movements. Their diets obviously were mostly meat, not enough veggies and healthy stuff. And so they get constipated. But they believed that regular bowel movements were not just a sign of digestive health, but your full body health, your mental health, and they even contributed your morality to it, your moral health. There's a brand over here when you get there called the Satanic Brand, and it's a laxative. And their ad campaign was that it would flush the devil right out of you, kind of thing.
That's an amazing campaign. Hey, Brad, I found something you need.
Hello, how you doing? Good. Welcome to the museum.
That's funny. Which one? The one with the COVID-19 one?
Electric belt.
Oh, I thought you was looking at that.
No.
That is funny. Let's see, what year is it?
You guys having
1902.
fun wandering around town today, yeah? Good.
We're doing it.
Here's the one I
So I'll
need.
give you a crash report
Pain and
real
anti-acid.
quick, just so you
Yeah.
kind of know what's going on. Our building here is called the Gaffney Building, and it was built in 1890, so about a year after the land run that settled the area. It was one of the first ones to go up pretty quick as far as the brick structures.
Look at this.
The original proprietor was a man
From
named
Guthrie in the
Horace
50s.
He was a druggist, and he also owned a mercantile store.
Don't spit on the sidewalk. Like he'd look down to do it. See the
Tuberculosis
sign.
outbreak, so they put them out.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's crazy. It says 50s. That's nuts.
He was also part of the city council. He was was
I keep hitting my ass on everything.
What?
God damn this dump truck of an ass I have.
What?
So I keep hitting my ass on everything. So god damn this dump truck of an ass I have.
I need some sarsaparilla for the blood.
Yeah, I know, right? Here's some. You need some vegetable tablets.
Some what?
Some vegetable tablets. They'll remedy your health. This is all like laxatives more. They like this shit back in the day.
Yeah, they did.
It's the only time they got away from their wives.
What?
It's the only time they got away from their wives.
Probably. Well, there's a chair there.
Yep. Hence the one I hit my ass on.
What's that?
Here.
It's another weighing thing.
Someone came in and said they remembered it like I think it was the 70s, being a fancy ladies dress store where they would come together formals and stuff. Somebody else said they remember back in the day.
I like how the AC vents integrated into the.
Yeah, it makes it look more old school.
The building is actually this and the newspaper next to us, and then there's also 3 apartments upstairs. It's a pretty large building. And then
It's kind of dope. The floor does move a lot, so be weary.
I'm aware of that. And,
Yeah.
started by a couple pharmacists that were sad to see the history was just kind of dying away, so they wanted to start preserving it. So they actually did a statewide campaign to try and remove
walk sideways
Look at all
here.
this. You can see the old school pills and stuff on them.
Leans the
Look
floor.
at that.
I'm coming around. You just describe what you see.
Pretty dope.
It was basically just the wall, ceiling, and floor. I think that set of built-ins was here, but the built-ins.
Damn, they had the no BS stuff back in the day. That shit get it done.
Oh, here's the label maker.
That's terrifying.
You'll see signs in some of them that say these items donated from so-and-so collection or whatever.
Don't know what's going on in that picture.
Well, she was coming off the street. A couple weeks ago, a lady came in and she handed me some catalogs. 2 of them were from 19, 23, 24, and then 24, 25, and had fabric samples and all the patterns that were.
Dude, there's a bottle of chloroform.
So they
I
would
swear to
have left
God.
them out on the counter, and women would have come in, felt the fabrics, and picked up the colors they wanted, and they would have ordered.
Did you say bottles of chloroform?
Come look. I'm not joking. There's a bottle of
Missed it.
chloroform.
Where?
So those are back on the desk over there. As you're looking around, you're more welcome to go behind the counters. The stuff that's
Man,
out, you can't.
They did not mess around back in the day.
No, they didn't.
Not even a little.
Need some ammonia.
You still buy that today?
Cherry and black hog compound. Celery seed, koala nuts, black hog, and aromatics.
Yum.
For an adult, 1 to 2 teaspoons, 3 times a day.
Man, there's so
Just
much
an elixir.
intestinal stuff.
Hey,
That's awesome.
you take a poop.
Thyroid strong, baby. Thyroid strong.
Glandular problem. I don't know why that popped in my head. These pills.
Wall in it.
This is my
Pretty
favorite
nuts.
corner. This is set up just like a working apothecary would have had his station set up. He had the herbs and the different things that he needed to do his recipes. Here's a handwritten recipe book. You can see he wrote down all the stuff to put in them. And then he would have had to decide on how he wanted the medicine to be administered. Sometimes they would put single doses in these little things and then line those up in a box. You would just dump it in your coffee or something. They had the old gelatin capsules. They could hand roll the pills. They could suspend them in liquids. So there were a lot of different ways to prepare them and administer them. And then back here, so these are old poison bottles. Kerosene was not good to see by, nor was candlelight. And most people couldn't afford glasses if they needed them. So if you're stumbling around in the dark and you went to grab some aspirin and you took strychnine instead, that's bad. They would label the bottles poison, but what they would do is they would also make them this shape. And they would add the ridges and the word poison on it. So if you got up in the middle of the night and you couldn't really see what you were doing,
You could
you could feel the bottle. Yeah. And some of the round and square bottles would have ridges or the word poison on them. This is the most common shape that you see for the poison bottles.
Pretty cool.
There's a whole little collection of them right here. I'm gonna be in your way if I sneak that back up.
Yeah, all right.
And then these are some of the old poison labels and stuff that they would put on. So they would put these on, and they even had the shake, don't eat with food. That they
That's
would
pretty
put on
cool.
the bottles. This little thing. This is a fire extinguisher. So they would have had those on hand, and these are like embalming jars or IV jars. But this one, what you would do is the fire started, you would throw it at the fire, and then you would run fast. Because the chemical, once that explodes, the chemical sucks all the oxygen out of the air.
Oh, wow.
And if you're standing too close, it'll take it right out of your lungs, too.
Jesus.
That's always fun.
If you come across those in the wild and they look like they're going to fall, get out of the area.
That's pretty.
I bet you need some eye work done.
Some what?
Eye work done.
Always.
So have you guys heard of the movie Killers of the Flower Moon?
I have. I've been meaning
I
to
don't think I
watch
watched
it.
it either.
So, well, when you do get around to watching it, keep an eye out for these pieces. The white cabinet here and the sink. They actually made it into the film. They came and gave us a donation to use a small moving van full of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And these two made it into the film. And some of the bottles and stuff, those are just harder to identify.
That's pretty cool.
But they actually donated to our museum as well, items as well. So stuff they had to buy because we didn't have it on hand. They actually donated those items to us as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize any of this stuff even like this. That is pasta chips.
I had a couple of OBGYNs in the other day that were looking at the book here. I pulled it out so they could see the illustration better, but they started looking it over. We had a good laugh. Some of the information in there is so bad and so wrong. But they said that there was an incredible amount that was actually correct. Still stuff that they still use and teach today.
That's pretty cool.
Imagine you go to your doctor and he whips out some of this equipment.
That'd be fairly scary. Nicotine Karma Pills.
So this little red box.
What is it?
Nicotine pills for large round worms in turkeys and chickens.
He sold these little arsenic pills to women
Weird.
and told them that it was safe to take them every day to get rid of
They juicing their poultry up for.
Get rid of worms. I've heard that with dogs. People chewing tobacco.
Well, I guess I've heard that actually.
Yeah, it gets rid of worms.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're pimples and acne and stuff.
No wheelchair over here. That's very terrifying.
Hey, you make a phone call?
Oh, that's dope.
Alcohol's free.
That's dope. I gotta get in it. I just want to experience it. What if I'm allowed to?
Yeah.
What's ask?
Better not. There's a glass piece on top. I'm not risking it.
I need Light.
Part of the sad part is in Oklahoma history, especially, there was so much racism with the indigenous people in the area that they would
That's
fight
cool.
and they
That's
would do
dope.
too much because that was the aesthetic that they were trying to do.
We're on the outside here. We can't fit between this chair.
Can you imagine? It's like, I'm like, it's working today. And it's not that they didn't.
That's pretty cool. That's a tight fit, ain't it? My lord.
Don't be a big guy and use a public phone.
That's a tough fit.
Can you get the door to close behind you?
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that came on. That's cool.
Can you feel the fan?
I can actually. My lord. Oh, that's pretty fancy.
Isn't that fun?
Just get back in there with the camera.
That'd be a short phone call. Man.
Now the desk here was a pharmacist who just closed up shop, and he left it basically like he just got up and walked away. If you open that little top drawer, they used to sell bus tickets for the area.
Okay.
So there's a pad that have some filled out and sold, and then some of the
That's pretty cool.
plain ones still.
Here, grab it on camera.
Here, can you look at it?
There's also some old airmail stickers in there. I'm not sure. We had some war ration coupons, but I'm not sure if we put those somewhere else or not. And you can see his chair was well loved.
Yeah, he used it for a while.
And then the wheelchair here, that was picked up in a tornado and dumped in Mulhall. And when they were cleaning up the debris and stuff, they found it. It was in pretty good shape, but they could never figure out who it belonged to. They don't know if it was from a hospital basement somewhere or somebody's collection. Nobody ever
Mystery wheelchair.
claimed it, yeah. So they brought it to us. Now, we don't mind you guys opening drawers and stuff too. Not all of them have stuff in them, but you're more than welcome to open the drawers and stuff too.
Okay, thank you.
The oldest thing that I know of is. So you'll notice that there's a lot.
Do you video of it?
What?
Do you video me in it?
Yeah,
Yes.
but there's a lot of glare off the window.
That's fine.
Depository molds and stuff. The Victorians were obsessed with regular bowel movement because they thought it was connected to digestive health, full body health, mental health, and
Looking back here.
spiritual health. When you get to the other side, you'll see a Satanic Brand acid, and the add-on, the ad campaign on that was flush the devil right out of your system, kind of a thing. And that back room is part of the museum as well. There's some dental chairs and some really cool old images and stuff in
That's
there.
cool.
Okay.
And then down here we have the epidemic. They used to post those on your door if your family was down with any of those. Could you imagine during COVID if the government had gone door to door
Popped up
posting?
a thing.
Yeah, people would have been rioting. And then over here's a Mrs. Winslow's ad, and here's the syrup. This is also a bottle called the murder bottle. They didn't put the nipple right on it. They would use that bit of tubing, and the moms didn't always know how to sterilize the tubing or that it even had to be sterilized. And so babies were getting bacterial infections and dying. They actually discontinued the use of the bottle, I think, before they discontinued Mrs. Winslow's.
Good. This is hilarious.
Hey, isn't that hilarious? Cigarettes and tobacco products for asthmatics. Yep. Actually, cigarettes.
Cheating agents over
Yeah, look
here.
at this dude.
What?
And then this one.
Satanic laxative compound. That's the double one, I think.
But there was a guy who.
Oh, that's the name of the company.
Yeah.
666. Malaria.
Look how small they were back then.
Now, one of our crazy quack medicine, but other stuff is still in use today.
How much do you weigh, Brandon?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Would you like your fortune?
That is amazing. I like that a lot. Also, this looks like where two psychopaths could sit and do heroin together.
Medicine for arthritis.
It's terrifying. That is kind of a cool chair, though.
Oh, that is cool.
I gotta take a picture of that chair. Damn it.
It's a little stool with armrested back. I want one for work.
Long ago.
That's pretty cool.
So we have one of the bottles that they were selling in that image.
Okay. That's pretty cool, actually. Look at that. Look how they inlaid it. The blue. That's pretty dope.
That kind of stuff. She also wrote about the same time a woman called How Women May Earn a Living, and she wasn't telling them to go take factory and design periods. The guy who redesigned the West Wing in around 1905-ish consulted hospital, and that's when she booked Pastor John Van. Yeah, and because she was a first-class woman, obviously she survived. And I'm pretty sure she was in the same like
Camera stuff over there. That's all I like.
if you watch the movie, there's a woman who kind of falls and has a hard landing into the lake, though, and hurts her ankle. That says cocaine removed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of the old Coke bottles.
That's awesome.
And that was the pure syrup, a gallon of syrup for the fountain use.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Coca-Cola's are spilling. That's so. Really? And also, if you guys are familiar with the movie Killers of the Flower Moon,
Haven't seen it yet.
well, if you do get a chance to see it, keep an eye out for our white table here in the sink, and some of the bottles were ours.